end with one story that captures it all for me. It's about a little boy, 6 years old. His name's Robert. His mom calls him Bobsy for short. He's in his room one night. He wakes up. He's got a pain. His mom comes running in. He's crying. She does everything she can to get rid of the pain. Nothing works. So she takes him down to the hospital in Phoenix, and they do a series of tests, and they come back, and she was told something no mother ever wants to hear. Your son has leukemia. We think it's too far progressed to do anything about it. It's terminal. All we can do is make him comfortable. She said, how long does he have to live? She said, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 6 months, we don't know. Now, she believed in all the kind of things we've been talking about in this program. And she went to her son, Bobsy, and she said, Bobsy, the doctors say you only have maybe 6 months to live. You're only 6 years old. What did you want to do when you grew up? We're real curious, your dad and I. He said, Mom, I wanted to be a fireman more than anything else. And through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, she went to the fire department and said, I've got this little boy. He wants to be a fireman. He's not going to live. Could you let him ride on a fire truck or something like that? And they said, oh, look, lady, we'll do better than that. We'll make him chief of the Phoenix Fire Department for a whole day. Wow. She said, if you'll get, the chief said, if you'll get his measurements, we'll make a uniform for him. And they made one for him. And they gave him a hat that said chief. They picked him up the following Wednesday on a hook and ladder truck, and they drove him down, and he got to sit in the back by the big steering wheel with a guy named Fireman Bob, which is his same name. And that day they went out on 3 fire calls, and Bobsy went out on all 3. And they weren't pejorative, they weren't condescending. They said, look, here's what we normally do. What do you think? And he'd say, sounds good, do it. And he was real excited. He got home that night, he saw himself on TV because they were taking pictures of this kid. He was really excited. His dream had come true. Now what happens? 6 months later, all the vital signs begin to wane. And the head nurse believed in something called the hospice movement. No one should die alone. And so she called up the mother and she called up the relatives and said, can you make it on down? We don't think Bobsy's going to make it through the night. Then she remembered the chief of the fire department. She called him up and said, do you think you could come over? Maybe a uniformed fire person could come and just stand by his bedside as he makes the transition, because we want him to remember that best day in his life when his dream came true and he got to be a fireman. And the chief said, look, lady, we'll do better than that. We're going to be there in 6 minutes. We're coming in by hook and ladder. And they knew where his window was because they'd been there before to visit him. And they came in with that hook and ladder truck, and up goes the ladder and extends to the 3rd floor open window. And 14 firemen and firewomen climb up that ladder into his room. And with the parents' permission, they pick up this little boy. And they start to rock him. And Bobsy looks up at the chief who was there, and he says, Chief, does this mean I'm a real fireman? And he looked down and he said, yes, Bobsy, you're one of the best firemen we ever had. And with that, he took his last breath and made his transition. Now, why would I end with that story? Because this is why. Everybody in his life conspired to what? Make his dream come true. To let him know that he was lovable and that his dream was worthy of support. Now here's what I want you to take away from this. Tonight you're going to be in front of your mirror. And you're going to be brushing your teeth. And you're going to be looking into your eyes. There's a little pair of eyes looking back behind your eyes. It's the little Bobsy that lives in you. Make sure that you don't let that child in you die without his or her dreams coming true, just like we didn't let little Bobsy die without his dreams coming true. Because you deserve to have your dreams come true. God bless you, and thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You've been a great audience. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you guys are good time.